Miracles, and welcome you to A Course in Miracles. And I'd like to share with you the only guidelines for the Course in Miracles are you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of it may be hard to believe. Like I may say something to you and you say, that's hard to believe. Some of it might be startling. Nobody's asking for you to come to judge today. We judge ourselves enough, don't you think?
Yes.
So we don't need to come to judge. So please don't judge me unless you judge me as sweet and juicy and chocolate and innocent and infinite and powerful the way I'm judging you. I'm going to use the judgment that love uses. I'm going to use the judgment that the Holy Spirit uses, as the Course in Miracles calls it. And the Holy Spirit is nothing but that part of us that knows the truth about us, that part of us that loves us, that part of us that knows we're connected to something greater than what we think we are. Yes. The Holy Spirit is the voice for truth inside of us. It's not something outside of ourselves. It's guidance that we receive from within ourselves. And whatever I say today, don't put anything that I say above the truth of your own being or whatever you feel in your own being. If it's a choice between something I've said and what you feel is right for you, go with you. Go with you, because the purpose of this is to give us a new perception of reality that would allow us to have peace of mind so that we can hear the guidance that we're being given every day that we don't listen to. How do we know? Because wherever you are uncomfortable is where you're not listening to your guidance. In whatever area that it looks like is not working for you, that's where you're listening to you. So it's real easy to tell when you're listening to the infinite intelligence of the universe and when you're listening to yourself. You know, it's where you think is working and where you think it's not working. And the truth is, it is working. The truth is, you're an infinite being that decided to play what we call the human game, the separation game, the idea that we are different game, the idea that we are separate game. And in order to do that, we had to forget who we really are. We had to forget that we're infinitely powerful beings. Hello. We had to forget that we create everything that happens to us. We forget that everything is coming from our own minds. And then we play the game like it's being created by something or someone outside of us. In other words, there's the phase one part of pretending that you're not an infinite being, which is I am the victim of everything around me. Somebody's doing something to me. It is their fault. If they change, then I would be happy. That's the formula for the first part of the game, which is to think that you are limited. So you set it up where it looks like things don't work and you have goals that don't turn out and you want to be abundant, but you're broke. And you wish you had a really wonderful, loving relationship, but you got a stalker. You know, it's like little stuff like that shows up. You know, you got a job you hate, you've been trying to lose 10 pounds for 15 years. All of those things are part of making yourself think that you're limited and thinking that you're separate before you enter into the exciting part two of the game, which is when you come into the realization of your infinite being and you come into the realization of your power and you remember who you really are and you remember that you're loving and lovable and that you created this and that it's supposed to be fun. It's like going to Hawaii for a 2-week vacation and then you go down to the employment office and get a job. That's what we did here. This is supposed to be an infinite possibility place, a place that we get a chance to play in an infinite creative way. And we got here, and the first part of the game is to pretend, poor me, all the stuff that happened, and all my story, and everything that happened to me. And that's cool. I mean, that's part of the game. But then the next part of the game, which I think people are ready for by the time they're drawn to my classes, is that they're ready to let go of the anger, guilt, grievances, separation, fear, past, and they're ready to experience their life in terms of their infinite power. Now, is that true about you?
Yes.
Okay, is that true about you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, don't expect me to be no more enthusiastic about you than you are. You don't want to think about that for a second. Would you like to be happy? Yeah. I think so. I know. So we've been talking about the judgment of the Holy Spirit. That's the section I'm going through right now in the Course in Miracles. And that's the judgment of the loving right mind. That's the judgment of your spiritual self. That's the judgment of your real self. So this class is for people who still know they judge. And so it's not about not judging so much. It's about using the correct judgment. So what we're going to do is, whenever you have a temptation to judge, rather than using your regular judgment, we're going to be asked to use this judgment. So that judgment will not hurt us. Judgment will help us. Is that cool? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be on paragraph 6 on page 12. Chapter 12, section 1, paragraph 6. And again, if I never see you again, which most people I don't. It's no accident that we're here together today, so there is a possibility that there's something that's said that your inner self wanted you to hear. So even if you don't buy into what I say, if you hear something that rings true for you, please consider that that might be why you were here today, maybe just to hear that one sentence. And so so this is the way I do it. I'm gonna share, then I'm gonna share about what I shared, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask questions, to get clarification. I'm going to limit that to a certain amount of time so that we'll keep moving forward. Okay? And if you ask me a question right in the middle of what I'm saying, I'm going to finish what I'm saying before I answer you. Okay? All right. So I'll get to you, but I'm not going to stop what I'm saying to address exactly what you're asking in that moment. Okay? So try to remember what it is that you wanted to ask. Okay? Okay. So the paragraph goes, only appreciation is an appropriate response to your brother. Gratitude is due your brother for both his loving thoughts and his appeals for help, because both your brother's loving thoughts and their appeals for help are capable of bringing love into your awareness if you perceive them truly. And all your sense of strain comes from your attempts to not see it as a call for help and a call for love. So how simple then is God's plan for salvation? How simple then is love's plan for healing? I'll give you the translation. I'll say it again. How simple is love's plan for healing? There's but one response to reality, because reality evokes no conflict at all. There's but one teacher of reality who understands what reality is. The one teacher within you of reality does not change his mind about reality, because reality doesn't change. Although your interpretations of reality are meaningless in your divided state, love's interpretation remains consistently true. Love, or God, gives these interpretations to you because these interpretations are for you. Do not attempt to help the brother in your own way. Do not attempt to help another in your own way. Do not attempt to help another in your own way. It's like right now, you don't know how many people are probably in therapy because of the help you gave. Do not attempt to help a brother in your own way, for you cannot help yourself. But hear that person's call for the help of God, hear that person's call for the help of the Creator, hear that person's call for the help of love, and you will recognize your own need for the Creator. That's cool stuff. So basically, it works something like this. If there's a person in front of me that has a deep call for love, that means that person is doing something that I perceive as offensive in some way. They're angry, they're upset, they're depressed, they're attacking. The Course calls that an appeal for help. And then it just told me I should have appreciation as the response for the person that's cussing me out. That I should really be appreciative of them because they are capable of bringing love into my awareness. Number one, because either they are expressing love or they are acting crazy, which is a call for love. In both cases, they reminded me of love. And since they reminded me of love in both those cases, and my reality comes from what I focus on, and now I'm focusing on the idea of love, then they're actually helping me to focus on the idea that creates love in my reality. So if I see what they're doing as a call for love, or a call for God, or a call for help, then I should be appreciating them for reminding me of the truth, even if it looks like they're going off on me. Now, all of my strain comes from not wanting to do that because I want to go off on them back. So he says all of our strain comes from our attempts to not see it as a call for love, but to see it as an attack. And then he says there's just one response to reality, because reality is either expressing love or call for love, and that one response is help. That one response is love, and it says that which created us, that's the only interpretation that it uses of anything that we're going through, is that we're calling for help and that we're calling for love, because love only sees a call for love. Okay? Then I heard it tell me that my interpretations and judgments are meaningless because I'm in a divided state. Sometimes I feel love, sometimes I don't, sometimes I feel peace, sometimes I don't. So my interpretations of reality are meaningless because none of my interpretations are consistent. My interpretations change from person to person, from situation to situation, from circumstance to circumstance. So that's why the higher self gave us these interpretations. They are for us. Then I heard the Spirit tell me, stop trying to help people in my own way because I really can't help myself. I need Spirit to help me. I'm praying for help to my Creator every day. So why do I think I need to ask my Creator to help me out in my situation, but I think I need to fix yours? You know, I'm asking God to handle my stuff, but then I think I got something to say about yours, or how you should be handling things. So the Course is telling me I need to hear your call for the help of God, because when I hear your call for help, I will recognize my own need for help. So every call for help I see in you is a recognition of my own call for help, because you are me. We are connected. We are one. We are joined. So your call for love is my call for love. Your call for help is my call for help. That's what I heard. Now, what did you hear? Any questions or comments about that paragraph? Any clarifications that I can help you out with? I've been playing around with this for 31 years. I might be able to help you. I might be able to save you some time. I might, if you want to take advantage of it. So everybody's totally clear about what I said. So when you walk out of here today and somebody gives you the finger in traffic, you're going to go, oh, Earl said I should be grateful for that. So I'm going to lean out the one and say, thank you, brother, for helping me remember love. That was a call for love. Thank you. Now you're making me more conscious of love. Or will you find yourself slipping back into your reaction mode and forget all about the oneness and want to run them over? Okay, which one are you? So everybody clear about that? That it said recognize it as a call for help, did not say you were necessarily the one who was supposed to answer it. As a matter of fact, if you are mad, you aren't the one. That's how you can discern. Do you want to help? No. Well, it's not you. You know, the infinite intelligence of the universe would have more sense than to want the person to help who don't want to. That doesn't make sense that an intelligent being would want anybody to do anything that they didn't want to do. It would make sense to me that an intelligent being would want the person to do it that wants to do it. I want a hug from the person after class that wants to hug me. The person that doesn't want to hug me, I do not want to be hugged by them. And they're innocent and I'm innocent. Some people are not all about the huggy-buggy stuff. Some people, that's what they want. They want to be hugged. Both of us are innocent because the only thing that's happening is love or call for love. That's it. That's what that first paragraph said. So what is the appropriate response to each other? Appreciation and gratitude. Why should I be grateful to that person if they're acting crazy? Because there's a call for love and I'm recognizing it. And why should I be grateful to that person if they're being loving? Because they're being loving. Okay, all right. So that means there's only one response to reality, because in reality, that's the only thing that's happening is love or call for love. It's easier to remember one response than 100 different responses. I like this. This is simple. Yes. Now, what happens if the other person's acting crazy and they got a call for love, and I'm acting crazy because I'm triggered just like they are? Then we both have a call for love. So we may not answer each other's call for love. So there are going to be some situations where you're insane and the other person appears to be insane. Also, try to have enough sanity to separate, to heal, rather than trying to engage while you're both crazy. Which is what the crazy part of your mind is going to tell you to do. When I'm most angry and most upset, and you're most angry and you're most upset, we're going to try to work this out while we're both upset. Which means our perception is completely distorted. We're both not taking any responsibility for what we're going through. That's why we're mad. Because neither one of us are taking any responsibility for what we're going through. And then we think we're going to get a resolution when we're both in blame mode and in separation mode. It'd be better to say, within 24 hours, let's handle this. Right now, we need to take a minute to take a breath, to cool out, to remember the truth, until I get to the point that I can recognize that I need to ask for another way to look at this. So I'm going to take a drive right now. You're going to take a walk right now. And we are going to come back together and we're going to discuss this when both of us are no longer this upset. Do not fall for, don't you walk away from me. You should be saying, walk away from me. Because I want peace with you and I'm crazy right now. I don't want to say something that I'll regret later on and wish I'd never said to you. So let's have enough sense in our insanity to give each other separation to heal. Okay, everybody clear about that paragraph? We worked that paragraph, didn't we? We took the juice out of that paragraph, didn't we? All right? Anybody with me on that? Anybody don't understand? You don't have to do it, but anybody don't understand what I said. Don't make any sense to them whatsoever. Okay, so the only appreciation is the appropriate response to the other person. I appreciate you, I appreciate you, I appreciate you, I appreciate you, because everybody in here is helping me to remember love. Then I'm going to say it the way I remember it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Look at somebody and go, I appreciate you. Say what? I appreciate. When you feel silly, you know you're getting there. I appreciate you. What about me? I go, I appreciate me. One more time. I appreciate you. Go, I appreciate me. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph.
All right. Yeah.
The next paragraph says, your interpretation of the other person's needs are your interpretation of your needs. So whatever you tell somebody else they need, that's what you need. Okay. So if you want to know what you really need, what is it that you're saying somebody else needs? You know, you need more compassion. You need more open-mindedness. You need to be more generous. You need to be more giving. You need to be more loving. You're saying, I need to be more open-minded. I need to be more giving. I love it when people tell me what they think other people need, because it's telling me exactly what it is they need. I like the quality that they criticize in somebody else, because I know that's exactly the quality that they have in their ego. I want to listen to what people are saying about everybody else, because that's how I know who they are. There are no private thoughts. So just listen to what the person's saying about everybody else. You know exactly how that person's mind works, and then you can make the decision about how intimate you want to get involved with that mind. Because when you form a relationship with somebody, you're saying, I'm choosing to experience the results of this person's thinking with them. That's what relationship means. I join a relationship with you, brother, then that's saying I'm willing to experience the results of your thinking with you. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're saying. Because if you're in a relationship, how you feel, I'm going to choose to let that have some kind of effect on me, one way or the other. I am. That's what a relationship is. So when next time you get ready to get in a relationship, pay attention to how that person thinks, because you're getting the opportunity to make a choice whether or not you want to go through that with them. I know the body can look good. I know the body can look tempting. I know the body can make you just want to glue the body. You know, and sometimes the body make you want to forget the mind. I get round to it later. You know, but as you begin to wake up, you realize that the relationship is with the mind and not with the body, and that you're going to be experiencing the way that person thinks with them. And is that thinking something that's waking you up? Is that thinking that's something that's putting you to sleep? Is that thinking that's something that's keeping you in conflict? Or is that thinking something that's going to bring more peace within you? As you begin to wake up spiritually, content becomes more important than form, because form is everywhere and you don't have to worry about that. Usually if there's a mind, there's a body attached, so you don't have to worry about the body. We're going to reach a level of consciousness one day there'll be mind without body, but we're not at that point yet. So you don't have to worry about it. Most people you go out with will have a body. And I know we all have our personal preferences of body. And you can have it the way you want it. Isn't that wonderful? Unless you're trying to convince yourself you don't have the power. And that's part one of the game. So some of you all in part one, when you're trying to convince yourselves you're powerless. Some of you are in part two, where you come into the realization that you create your reality. Both of you are innocent. One is setting up the game, one is playing the game. One is setting up the bowling pins, the other one is bowling. So right now, if your life is just a series of unhappy, tragic events that it looks like nothing is going right, you're setting up the game. You're setting up the game that you're going to use to come into the realization of your power again. And some of you may be at that, or you may have friends or relatives that's busy in part one, creating nothing but drama. Okay? And instead of feeling sorry for them, know that they're infinite beings setting up the human game so that they can come to the realization of their spiritual identity. They're going from separation to oneness, like the Course is teaching. And so when you want to play part 2, which is the happy game, then you use the judgments that love would use, which is what's being given us. And when you want to do phase 1, which means just one thing that upsets you after another thing that upsets you after another, then you use the blame game. So there's the blame game and the responsibility game. Okay, if you're playing the blame game right now, have a good time. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be painful. It's going to be exciting. You're going to go up and down. You know, people are going to be deserting you. You're going to feel betrayed. You're going to be crying, snot running out your nose. You know, and people who recognize the truth will be remembering that you're a powerful being that's setting that up for yourself right now, and they're going to be very compassionate and willing to be helpful to you if you're at the point that you're willing to look at it differently. A conscious being does not try to correct or fix anybody. An unconscious being is trying to fix everybody. Hello? All right. You know, I trust the power of God in you, so therefore I don't believe that you need me to correct you and fix you. Okay? And I believe that if it's something the Spirit wants me to say to you, then Spirit will use me to say it, and in most cases I won't even recognize I've been used. The people who have thanked me the most for the help I've given them have been the people I wasn't trying to help. Who I just happened to say something in passing that made the difference. And many times the people that I set out to help, like in these classes, I'll have like the stuff I'll underline that I know should be the thing to just make everybody just scream and yell, and I'll set my big moment line and everybody look like this. And then I throw something away and then go, wow, that was exactly what I wanted to hear you say, Earl. And I go, what did I say? Okay? So you don't even know when you're helping people. You don't even know when you've helped people. You don't know how many people whose lives have been are so much better because they crossed your path in something that you were seeing and something that you went through. You know, and then you don't know, some people got a voodoo doll of you that they're sticking pins in, you know, so you just don't know how people are perceiving you, but that's none of your business. What another person thinks of you is none of your business. And if it's something you have discovered that you really want to believe and you really want to use, a revelation that's come to you that you got that revelation and it made you feel inspired, which means to feel in spirit, don't tell anybody. Don't go running out the door trying to tell everybody about a revelation. A revelation is intensely personal to the one who receives it, and you can't transfer a revelation. And if anything, you lose the excitement of the revelation. When you tell the person your big revelation, they go, huh? Or even worse than that, they try to tell you what was wrong with your revelation. Yeah. They try to fix your revelation. They try to tell you how you need to be thinking another way other than that, when you know it was exactly what you needed to hear because of the inspiration that it gave to you. So when you feel inspired, don't go unless you know you're about to talk to somebody who's conscious enough to respect your own path and realize that it's great that you came to a realization about what was best for you, and they would not be trying to tell you another way to look at it. Okay, you got it? And you know who those people are. You know who the people are you can share revelation with, and they'll listen to you and hold space for you. And who the people are who feel like it's their duty to always take an opposite point of view from everything you say. Yeah. Why? Because they're trying to establish their own individuality, and they believe the way to do it is to never agree with anybody. Then I'm doing my truth. See? So as you wake up, I'll say it again. Like I've been having some great revelations. You know, I just came from a very wonderful, powerful spiritual experience out in the middle of the desert, which was a miracle for me to be there to begin with. That was the first thing. I couldn't even believe I was there. I talked to some friends of mine here right now. They didn't even believe I was there. I ran into a place. They go, ah! You know, it's like someone didn't believe I was out in the middle of the outdoors. What you doing outdoors? Having a good damn time. That's what I was doing nowadays. Joining with more and more loving people. But most of all, I was getting downloads from my higher self about what to do next in my life. So I'm very clear right now about the next phase of what I've got to do. It's exciting me, so I know it was real guidance. It's edgy, so I know that it's real guidance. It has to do with more letting go of the structures I think I've created to take care of myself, which lets me know that I'm being guided, you know. And it's created more gratitude and more love and more excitement in my heart and more peace. That's how you can tell guidance. You feel more peaceful, more centered, not more afraid. Oh, so if you're getting guidance and you're going, oh, I don't know about you do that. Well, that ain't your guidance. That's your guidance. That's not your guidance. Got it? Your guidance makes you go, but I know maybe I should. And then your real guidance makes you go, yeah, all right. It might present myself with a few challenges. I don't know. It might come up. But you know what? I know I want to do this, and I want to do this more than any obstacles that may come up because I'm afraid of doing it, because that's where obstacles come from. They come from the fear of the goal you've set. Obstacles come from the fear of the goal that you have set. So if there are a lot of obstacles facing you right now, it's because you're afraid of whatever's on the other side of that obstacle. I say I want a relationship. My goal is to have a real loving relationship. It's just one obstacle after another. Stop being afraid of relationships, and the obstacles to having one will leave. I really want money, more prosperity and abundance. I really do. Stop being afraid of abundance and prosperity, and the obstacles to having it will leave. So rather than figuring out how to get the money, you should be focusing on how do I let go of my fear of abundance. Trying to get the money is a trick. Because even if you're afraid of it, even if you get it, you'll use it to jam yourself up. Even if you get it. So where do I have the most obstacles? Where I'm the most afraid. Or where I really don't want what I'm asking for. Look at y'all the way y'all looking at me.
Earl, you need a puppet.
I got one. It's a life size. The easiest woman I never got along with. Now, by giving help, you're asking for help. By giving help, you're asking for help. And if you perceive but one need in yourself, what? Love, you will be healed. For you will recognize God's answer as you want God's answer to be. And if you want God's answer in truth, God's answer will be yours. So if you really want it, the solution will come. If you really want it, the solution will come. If you see just one need in yourself, you will be healed. See, I used to think I had a lot of needs. The Course says that's the problem. You think you have a lot of needs. You need to reduce it to one need. And that's love. That's truth. That's connection. That's joining. That's the same thing. Then it told us that I'll recognize the answer as I want it to be, and if I really want it, it will be truly mine. Every appeal you answer in the name of Christ, which is your real self, your love self, brings the remembrance of your Creator closer to your awareness. For the sake of your need, then, hear every call for help is what it is so God can answer you. So for the sake of my need, I'm going to recognize your need. Because the universe gives me what I give. And I receive back what I give. So if I really want help, then I have to see your call for help. If I only want love, I have to say you want only love. Now notice that my taking these perceptions does not require your cooperation at all. There's nothing I'm saying today that requires me getting you involved, other than you being there to be who you are for me to use the truth on. That's how I know it's the truth. Because I would think a solution that came from my Creator would be a solution I didn't need your cooperation on, because that would be the slow way. See, if I need to get your cooperation for me to heal my mind, and then I got to convince you the truth of what I'm saying, get you to want to cooperate, get you to... Don't see how slow that is. So the truth is, anything real doesn't require anyone else's cooperation. It just requires me applying the truth to myself. I need to see what you do as a call for love. I need to see what you do as a call for help. I need to give your calls for help to the Creator, because I want my calls for help answered by the Creator. Whatever I interpret you as needing, I know that's my need. So I say, you need somebody to really care for you. I need someone to care for me. And guess what? I'll do it. I've never turned myself down for a date. I've never turned myself down for dinner. And I always get lucky. So you don't need anybody else's cooperation for what's real, because what's real is what is. And what is doesn't have anything to do with your beliefs. What's real doesn't have anything to do with your cooperation. What is, is. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like your spiritual path to be based on me doing what you want me to do or cooperating with you? Or would you want your spiritual path based on you taking the truth you come to realize and applying it to yourself? Which one?
Second.
The second one. Anybody that's sane would go for the second one. Anybody that wants to struggle goes for the first one. I need you to cooperate for me to practice my truth. If I want to practice my truth swiftly, I don't even tell you what it is. Because then I don't have to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
That makes you feel relaxed, just hear it. And then, now, this much truth will knock you on your butt. Okay? The Course in Miracles says this level of truth, this simple that I'm saying, will put you to sleep. It will knock you out. And that proves that what I'm learning is correct, because people do what it says they're going to do. So that gives me more faith in the Course. The Course tells me how people are going to react and respond, and I watch everybody in my life do exactly what it says they're going to do, to the point it's almost spooky. I mean, this book tells you if the person thinks they're separate in the body, they're going to do this, and they're going to react this way, and they're going to do this right here and this right here. If a person who thinks that they're joined, connected, loving, and one in a relationship, they're going to do this right here. In their life, they're going to act like that. They're going to respond. And so the book defines exactly what the loving mind does and what the fearful mind does. And then you look around you and you watch all your friends and relatives and yourself act it out just like a script on a movie screen. You sit back after a while and you just can't believe how people are doing exactly what this book says that they're going to do, but in their own individual way. It's like it's cake, but some cake is banana, some is chocolate, some is red velvet, but it's still cake. You're really not getting something different until you go pie. Okay, most people change flavors of cake, but they're still eating cake. You see what I'm saying? Most people rearrange their jail cell and think they're free. Okay, they move the bunk from the north side of the cell to the right side of the cell. They say, I've just changed. You haven't changed till you got out of the prison cell. Right? Okay, any questions about any of that I just shared?
We create illusions for ourselves.
Yeah, we create illusions for the purpose of convincing ourselves that we're not infinite beings, so that we can have the fun of coming into the realization of who we are again and discovering the infinite power that we possess that we've forgotten about.
Because we're still hanging on to fear.
Fear is the way that we keep the game going until we're ready to change our mind. Fear is the main weapon that we use to keep us unaware.
Especially if we want a particular...
See, that's what truth students think. They think that every minute they got to go, oh, I feel so good about it. Actually, it's just the opposite. When you become a very serious seeker of the truth, you feel anything but good.
Yeah.
How could you feel always peaceful when you're learning something completely opposite to everything you've been taught? It's almost insane to believe that you're going to completely radically change your way of looking at things and not go through some disorientation and some discomfort. That's crazy. You're not going to change from one person to another person and don't think you're going to go through any confusion and doubt. It would be better to admit to yourself that awakening involves discomfort at the beginning, and remind yourself that the discomfort is a sign that you are trying to claim your power again. That you are really letting go of one way of looking at it, and you haven't completely embraced the new way of looking at it yet. So let go of the belief that I'm going to go into radical happiness without any kind of stress. Because you're not. You're not. You're not. Yes.
Earl, I'm glad you said that, because you were talking about revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And this past month I've had a profound experience. And I've gotten this revelation. And I'm thinking, oh, I got this revelation. I should be like, oh, up in the clouds. But it feels like everything in my world now is turned upside down.
Good.
Like what was isn't anymore.
Thank you.
And I feel like bewildered.
Yes. Thank you for changing, Chris. Thank you for doing spiritual work. Thank you for actually working on yourself. Because no one who seriously takes responsibility and really decide that they're going to change is not going to be shaken up. So thank you. That's good, brother. You know, be thankful for every disorientation you feel. It means you let go of one way, but you haven't completely embraced the new way yet. Good. Good.
And I'm
Because
getting there, right?
and what?
And I'm getting there. To that
Oh,
point.
yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely getting there. And my purpose in your life is to remind you of that when you forget. That's all we're in each other's lives for, is to remind each other of each other's power when we forget. Not to make each other feel worse because you're not acting out my script for how I think you should be according to my life as I have defined it in the role I assigned to you. Which is usually right behind, I love you. I love you means, I got a big ass script I'm finna put on you. And in return, if it's a romantic relationship, you might get some not so good sex. We should not make people work as hard as we do for our dysfunctional love. It's really kind of cruel when you think about how hard we make people work for the love we give, which is full of judgment, scripts, anger, and upset broken in two by periods in which we go to movies and go dancing and go to the park and hike.
Go outdoors.
And go outdoors. I mean, think about how hard we make people work for what we give them back. Think about that for a minute, because when you talk to the average person, when they're talking about a relationship, they're always talking about what they want the other person to do for them. Like, listen, they always say, well, I want a person that's kind, that's giving, that's prosperous, that's abundant, that's awake, that's spiritual, that's, you know, that's passionate, and I go, would a person like that want you? Would a person that dynamic want you?
Just drain you.
They wouldn't. They would want someone like that. So what's rule number one? You be what you want to have. Whatever you want to have, you become it. As soon as I want to experience something with somebody or through somebody, I ask myself, what would it take for me to have that quality myself so that I can allow that to be created in my experience, because it's going to come from within me. And then the more you realize you're free and innocent and you can do whatever you want to do with your body or your mind, it doesn't make you go wild. It doesn't make you more indiscriminate. It actually makes you more, I'm more discriminate the more I wake up, and the more I realize how free I am, the more discerning I am. It's disgusting. You know, really, because your peace becomes more important to you than anything. And so you find yourself going, oh, I'm tempted over here, but I can already see that's not gonna, that's gonna be a real. But when you don't love yourself and you're just hoping they show up and you don't really know what you want and you don't know how to answer a call for love if it clobbers you on the head, then you draw people to you who reflect back things that keep you upset until you look within and realize you're the one that's setting it up. And so you're grateful to them because they're forcing you to go within. So the people who won't do what you say are actually doing you more of a favor than the people who do what you say from an unconscious position. It's one thing to play a game, it's another thing to forget the truth. Now, once you know the truth, you can play any game you want to. And you can have fun playing that game, no matter what that game is. But don't forget, you're infinite beings having a human experience, and you create your reality through your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. And nothing happens to you that you don't choose. Nothing. And if something seemed to happen to you that was very traumatic, it was all part of your evolutionary choice to come to the realization of your divinity. And so you don't have to go through it again. And maybe it was challenging, but its purpose was to help you get in touch with yourself to become the person you are that happens to be sitting up here today. So bless your past. Say everything that happened in my past was for my own best interest. That clears the past and is no longer an obstacle to your present. As long as you see it as something that holds you back, then you're going to keep repeating it until you change your mind about it in one form or another. But if you claim it was all good, it served to get me to the point I am right now, then there is no past to keep going through over and over again so you can be healed. That story is no longer necessary. Why are you dissecting your past in therapy? Because you don't think your past was good and helpful. Claim it as good, claim it as helpful, claim it as it's helping make you the person that you are today. There's no longer any need to dissect it. And you can use the new beliefs that you're getting today about you and use those to create your present, which leads to your next present, which leads to your next present, which leads to your next present. Now that's the answer. I gave it to you in 2 minutes. Now, depending on how important your story is to you, you may not use it right now. You see what I'm saying? If you're really addicted to your story, you could walk out that door and go, well, I didn't really get any answers in that class. I didn't even hear what he's saying. I was thinking about what I was going to eat this evening. And that's okay. That just means that right now you're still setting up the game. That's all. You're still setting up the game for yourself. And you're innocent. Isn't that great? I think that's great.
I like what you said many, many times in the past, that the past is gone, the present is all you have, and the future hasn't arrived yet.
That's right. The future means not yet. Past means
So
gone. Future
moment.
means not yet. You know, future means not yet. I won't love in the future. I won't love in the not yet.
Be in the moment.
You used to love me in the past. You used to love me in the gone. Gone, not yet. Gone, not yet. Gone, not yet. Gone, not yet. See, that's what I used to think about. I was always in the gone or the not yet. Gone or the not. So how do y'all right now? Who would admit they're in the not yet? Like they're thinking about what they're gonna do later on today. Okay, you're in the not. How many of y'all thinking about what you did before you got here? Something happened in the past. See, you're in the gone, right? So that means your mind is actually blank because you're not thinking about anything that's actually in existence. So you've already achieved a very high Zen state. You are in the no mind state of Zen. I think that's great. I have a class, and there are many Zen masters in here. Their mind is totally blank. They're thinking about the past or the future. You're welcome. So
They're comfortably numb.
yeah, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool because I'm gonna say a 3-letter word that might be tough to hear. Okay. Fun.
Yeah.
Your life is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Easy, enjoyable,
Yay.
creative,
Hell yeah.
flowing,
Yeah.
abundant,
Yes.
joyful,
Yes.
safe, and peaceful.
Yay.
Except for that disorienting part.
Except for the disorienting part at the very
Yeah.
beginning on the way to not being disoriented.
It really does.
But suppose you were disoriented with the person who recognized that your disorientation was a call for love. Then you would be nurtured during your own disorientation from within yourself and from without yourself. You know, I have, in my personal reality, there's no one doing anything to me at all. Not judging me, not stopping me, not condemning me, not trying to change me. I don't have anybody I need to work anything out with right now. There's nobody that's trying to get something from me that I don't want. There's nobody that's trying to limit me in any way whatsoever. And I remember a time when I would have told you that was impossible. I remember a time I would have told you it's no way that my life would be that way. It is that way. It's only that way because I started to do what this was telling me to do. Even when I didn't like it, I'd go, that's call for love. Because I was focusing on love, my thoughts create my reality. It began to create more love in my reality. So all the people who used to upset me were actually beginning to be used to create more love in my life and within me. And when I do feel like crap, or I do feel angry, or I do feel discomfort, I don't run away from it. I don't try to pretend it's not there to be positive. What I do is say, I feel extremely uncomfortable right now. I feel absolute total hate for that person right now, and I wish their flesh would melt off their bones and go down the drain.
Holy Spirit, help me.
You know, I am creating that. I am grateful to myself for even knowing I have the power to even create that thought for myself. I am the holy child of God. It is not real. It is not what I really am. Do not run away from your feelings in the name of trying to be spiritual. Tell the truth to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Even if you lie to everybody else around you and say you feel fine when your heart is broken, like we do in spiritual circles, where everybody feels fine. How you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. Fine. How you doing? Great. Fine. Fine. Great. Great. Fine. They would have been out in the car before the class crying their eyes out about something, but walk right in the door and tell a lie about how they feel. And keep on lying. Don't tell the truth to somebody who will think it's real. Tell the truth to somebody who knows it's not your ultimate state. So I agree with you. You should walk in and say, I'm doing great, to somebody who wouldn't know who you were beyond how you're feeling. But if it's someone I know who remembers who I really am, I'm willing to say, you know, today I felt suicidal. I need another way to look at this. Can you please give me another way to look at this, because I feel like my life sucks. And they'll go, I recognize who you really are. It's safe for you to feel what you feel right now. Go ahead and just express it as much as you want to. Notice they didn't correct me. They say, I'm holding space for you right now. I know who you really are. Go ahead and express it. They didn't give me any advice. And then the next time they see me, they're not going to go, oh, poor Earl, are you still okay? Because they are willing to be in the now moment, know that that's how I felt in that moment, and it may not be the way that I'm feeling now. You know, and they didn't judge me. That's what. See, these books tell you how people communicate who are awakening. All spiritual books do that. They all tell you this is the way a sane mind operates, and this is the way one that isn't operates. That's how it. And they're both innocent. They're both loved. But you have to make a choice. Do you want to join with insanity, or do you want to join with sanity? Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? Because in most cases, in order to be happy, you have to be wrong. Especially if you're not happy. You don't want to be miserable and right. So people who are most upset in this room right now, hope and pray you're most incorrect in the way you're thinking and feeling. That will be your first breakthrough today. If you walked out here today and say, you know, the way I feel is a call for love. I'm a big call for love today. That's all it is. I'm just asking for God's help. I'm just asking for the help of the Creator today. That's when I cussed that person out, or when I betrayed, or when I lied, or when I didn't do what I said I was going to do, that was a reflection of my own deep call for love. If you walked out of here today and you said that about everything you felt that was uncomfortable, you would attract love to you instead of more fear and conflict and drama. Just that simple a description of your reality without having to believe it. Because if you make belief a necessary stage, you won't let yourself say it. Because you think you shouldn't be saying something you don't believe. And the truth is saying, say what you don't believe if it's the truth. I am innocent. I'm not necessarily mean I believe that all the way through. But it's the truth, so what difference does it make? Really? Right? You can feel like that you are alone, right? You could say, right now, I'm alone. You know you're not. Look around the room. It's a lie. You're not alone. So you can say anything, and that doesn't mean it's necessarily the truth just because you feel that way. So you can feel any way you want to feel, but you're still loved. You're still lovable. You're still supported. You're still not alone, and right now you're just setting up stage one of your own realization of your power, because you're insisting that you want to be miserable no matter what, so you're just setting up the bowling pins before you start bowling. And I'm not going to begrudge you that stage if you feel like you must go through it, because once I was given an answer that would change my mind and I decided to keep the old way of looking at it, there was nothing I could do but take responsibility for what I was experiencing, and I couldn't blame anybody for it. Because I was given a choice and I chose not to use it. Then, okay, so I'm suffering. All right, I'm responsible for my suffering. I was given an alternative. I asked for help. I don't choose to use it. I must want to suffer right now. It's serving some useful purpose in my mind, and I'm going to stop criticizing myself for doing it. I'm in this relationship. It's a horrible relationship, but I can't get out of it. I'm going to say to myself, I'm going to take responsibility for continuing to be in this relationship, and I'm going to ask for another way of looking at it and to see it as a call for love. I don't want to go right now. I'm going to take responsibility that I don't want to go right now, and I'm going to keep on doing it right now, and I'm not going to blame the other person for what I'm going through right now, because I have a choice, and this is what I'm choosing, and watch the peace that comes over you when you do that. But stop pretending like you're in a situation that you don't have a choice, because that's torture. That's torturing yourself. You know, you could be loved. There's somebody on their knees right now praying for somebody just like you. They see you as a step up. See, type of people believe that. But there are people who would see you as an absolute improvement over anything that they're, and I don't mean just as lovers, I mean as friends. I mean as connection. Like all the people say, I'm not looking for a special relationship. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't know necessarily what I'm talking about. Relationship can be with everything and anything, and not just a person. Right? Yeah, we have relationships with everything. And my job, my function, is to be happy. So that I can show people that it's possible to be happy here. And I can show myself it's possible to be happy here. If I choose that as my goal, the universe will support it in every way possible. So I would invite you to do this today. Make a decision about what you are willing to experience now in your life. What your purpose is going to be, why you are here, and please don't use a description that the world gave you. What you are is not what you do. You're an infinite being having a human experience, coming into the realization of your power and the love that created you. You set up trying situations that look like you were a victim of to set up the whole game of thinking you were limited, and now you're ready for the next stage, which is to come back into the realization that you are abundant and that you are loved and that you are powerful and it's possible to be happy. And so everything that comes into your life right now is there to help you remember that. Thank you for listening to this message. So helping me remember. Oh, Lord, indeed. All right. I'm going to ask for money now. This is what I do in the world, and God sustains me, but guess what? Does it through people. So I appreciate what you give and I appreciate what you don't give. Either way it go, I'll be okay. You'll be all right with me. You'll be all right with me. I am very, very grateful to have an opportunity to share with you. And those of you looking at these classes on the internet, I want you to know that I appreciate all the comments and things that I've been receiving from all of you, as well as letting you know that I'm available for clarity sessions. What happened to my little... Anyway, I thought I brought it in here. My clarity, I do clarity sessions, one-on-one sessions.
And they're fantastic.
Thank you. To take what you think you're going through and apply my 31 years of working with this towards your situation. If you go to my website, earlpurdy.com, it explains in detail what I do. And I'm open to support you if you want to do one of those with me. And then on Thursday nights, I'm doing another class right here at 7 o'clock. So I want to invite you to come back and do it again. So what we're going to do now is take a couple of minutes to allow ourselves to kind of receive what we just heard. So I'm going to do like a little quick review. Some of you might want to just breathe and listen. You're fantastic and you're juicy and you're cute.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's an honor to know you. It's an honor to be in your presence. Please go to my website and sign up on my mailing list so I can let you know about the workshops and things like that that I'm going to be doing. I'm creating some more stuff that I've been given a whole new download about my life. And a part of me is excited and a part of me is like, what? You gotta be kidding. But I'm gonna do it. 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 I deserve it. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be supported. I deserve abundance. I deserve recognition. I deserve appreciation. And everybody in my life does too, and I'm gonna give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna live what this stuff is saying. I don't care if nobody else around me is doing it. I'm gonna do the best I can at it.
Excellent.
That's what I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna leave everybody else alone. Let them do what they want to do and be what they want to be and be willing to be helpful if I can. Is that cool?
That's way cool.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do with you. So I'm gonna think highly of you, no matter what. Like the course, like the Holy Spirit in the Course of Miracles told me, sorry, you don't think highly enough of yourself for us to use your plan. I mean, what? You don't think high enough of yourself for us to use your plan for happiness. Our plan is better. Your plan sucks in terms of what we got planned for you. So we're not going to use your plan for happiness, Earl. Matter of fact, it's the same plan you've come up with 1,000,000 times before. We're not going to use it. Okay? I'm giving up my plan. Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So some of you might want to breathe, but here we go. There's a couple of things I want to say. Only appreciation is appropriate. You need to have gratitude to that person for their loving thoughts and for their calls for help. So that this week, I want you to take out this thought. Everything is either love or call for love. It's either love or call for love. It's either love or call for love. It's either love or call for love. All the time, it's either love or call for love. All the time, it's either love or call for love. That's all happening. It's either love or call for love. Let me tell you now. Gratitude is due to a person for either their loving thoughts or appeals for help. Their call for love, their expression of love is capable of bringing love into your awareness. If you perceive it truly, if you perceive it truly, if you perceive it truly, it can bring love into your awareness, into your life, into your awareness, into your life. It's time to see it correctly so you can be helped. Because your heart's in good hands. And I'm going to stand by you. I'm going to stand by your side. I'm going to remind you that you're innocent. I'm going to remind you that you're infinite. I'm going to remind you that you're innocent and remind you that you're infinite. That you are an infinite being having a human experience. You're an infinite being having a human experience. You're an infinite being having a human experience. You're an infinite being having a human experience. You are not guilty. You are not bad. You are not sinful. You are not guilty. You are not bad. You are not sinful. You are not guilty. You are not bad. You are not sinful. You are not guilty. You're not bad. You're not separate from God. Your interpretations of another person's needs are your interpretation of your own needs. Your interpretation of somebody else's need is your interpretation of your own need. Now, saddle it to yourself. Tell yourself, say, God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. My past is over. It can touch me not. The past is over. It can touch me not. My past is over. It can touch me not. My past is over. It can touch me not. With me, my past is over, it can touch me not. My past is over, it can touch me. Say what? My past is over, it can touch me not. My past is over, it can touch me not. My past is over, it can touch me not. The past is over, it can touch me not. The past is over, it can touch me not. My past is over, it can. You know what that means? It means your most dastardly deed, the things you feel the most guilty about, the things you feel the worst about, that was just your call for help. That was your. You got to do it now. All through the week now. the people who upset you now. You are entitled to miracles. Some good stuff is going to happen to you. You're going to have more joy and more orgasms than you ever imagined. More abundance is coming to your life than you've ever had. You're going to feel your connection to your infinite self. Feel your connection to your infinite self. Mm-hmm.
I know that it's not a dream. Oh, we can get together if we just believe in the good of each other, respect one another, we'll all survive.
If we respect each other, we'll all survive.
We'll weather the storm, a new day will dawn.
Now this is radical. I want you to smile to somebody. Keep on pushing love. I say I'm gonna keep on pushing love. I'm gonna give you what I want to receive. Shout it to the heavens above. Some of y'all terrified. I'm so glad. It's a cult. I told you deserve happiness. It's a cult. I said you deserve to have joy. It must be a cult. I said that you are innocent. It must be a cult. I want this cult. You are free right here with me, and you deserve love. You are deserving love. You are entitled to miracles. You are entitled to miracles. You are entitled to joy. You are entitled to abundance. You are entitled to health. You are entitled to love and relationships that are supported. You deserve to have a career in things that you really love. Don't you know we got to keep on pushing love? We can't go wrong. May the course be with you. I love you. Thank you for coming. Hugs out. Give it to yourself. Don't let's put some juice in it, y'all. Come on. Come on. Give it to you. Give it to you. I know I'm pushing the goddamn. Give it to you. You deserve it. Some hugs are available. Have a wonderful week. And it's just love or a call for love. That's it.